Welcome to the Know Your Legacy podcast. I'm your host, Vipul Vasanya, and today's guest is Chris Coleman. Chris is the owner of a supplement company called Health is Wealth Nation, which seeks to open 100 stores by 2020. He's also the best-selling author of the book, The 180 Effect, which tells the story, the tale of him going from homeless to a successful business owner. So Chris, thank you so much for being here, man.
Hey, my pleasure, man. Thank you for having me. I appreciate the opportunity.
No problem at all. I love connecting with like minds, and yeah, definitely, I felt the energy when we started talking. So first off, though, from what we're talking about on Instagram, because I know we're talking about what's the Phoenix about? Because I know you know, my logo is a Phoenix, but you got a Phoenix tattoo.
I got it on my skin, man. Yeah, it's man, I love the Phoenix bird from Greek mythology, man. I just love what it represents. I love the concept of rebirth, of course. You know, I grew up Catholic, and so that concept was already embedded in me. And then, that was like the animal, personification, of the rebirth, and just, life is gonna burn. You're gonna get burned in life. A lot of people don't know how to go through that cycle, but I love the way the Phoenix bird kind of represented that for me. So I got it tatted on me. It's always a reminder. I look at it every day in the mirror. So yeah, I love it, man.
What age did you actually get the tattoo? Was it at the same time that you decided to make the transition into going into being homeless, or was this a different time altogether?
Yeah, it was before. So actually, I was 19 when I got the tattoo, and I went through that period of going from homeless and kind of emancipate myself from all safety nets. I went through that at the age of 22. So yeah, it was a couple years before I went through that. So I was basically already kind of prepared mentally and emotionally for that, because I just had that ingrained in me, like, hey, life is in a cycle. You're gonna get burned. You're gonna have to reborn and rise from the ashes.
Yeah. So was that something that came really naturally to you, like in terms of the actual knowing which logo to actually put there, or was it something that you'd read about, or like, was it something that's intuitive to you?
I think, well, I love Greek mythology, period. So that's one. Like, growing up, I always loved, Greek mythology, from Hercules and, Pegasus and Antinous, and just like I love the stories, in Greek mythology, and just the vision, the imagery, and and the symbolism for so many things, and how it's like so many levels of stuff. So I've always loved Greek mythology, and when I actually, it's a song by Jay-Z, and I think it's Sierra Leone, the remix with Kanye West, and he talks about the Phoenix. That's one of the lyrics. I can't think of it right off the top of my head, but he said, oh yeah, they lined up to see the Titanic sinking, but now we rised up like a phoenix. So I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna get that tatted on me.
Yeah. No, definitely. No, it was the same with me. Like, in terms of the logo, it was like when I reflected on the story of what I went through and how I was feeling. Like, is more about the feeling. Like, I felt like I literally, my old self had died, and then I was reborn into who I am today. And then it just continues to keep happening. Like, you kill your old self, and then you're reborn into a stronger person. So yeah.
Exactly, man.
What was the I was listening to one of your other talks that you did. I think this was going back a few months. I think it's one of the ones you sent me, actually. And you mentioned that the going homeless was a choice. So to me, that's crazy, because it's like, who would actually think about making that choice purposely? So just talk to me about, like, why you actually made that choice, and what actually led you to doing something like that.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. Leading up to it, well, just to get some backstory, I grew up, I'm in the South, so Mobile, Alabama, here in the States, and I'm here in the South, so growing up is very conservative, and then I grew up Catholic. I'm African American, but Catholicism is really big in this area. So I grew up just following the book, just go to school, get good grades. I was an altar boy, just follow the book to a T. And once I graduated high school and went to college for 1 year, I was kind of just thrown into the real world. And I said, okay, what I grew up knowing and what they prepped me for doesn't apply in the real world. Like, whether it's, job skills, education, like, it's not matching up. There's a disconnect. And then a couple of years passed. I was working a lot of jobs. And I was working at one point. I was working at a gas station during the day, working 40 hours a week. At a grocery store during the day, working 40 hours a week, and a gas station at night, working 45 hours a week. So I was working over 90 hours a week, minimum wage. I almost died because I wasn't eating right, drinking too much coffee, and I was like, no, I can't do this anymore. And I had too many safety nets. Like I said, my grandma helped me out here and there, but getting on me, my dad was helping me out here and there. And I was like, you know what? Like, in order for me to change, in order for my life to change, in a drastic way, I have to make a drastic decision to do something different. And yeah, at that point, I knew in my life where, if I wanted my life to be different, if I wanted my life to be drastically different, I had to make a drastic change in life. And that's how it works. You gotta change if you want change, and you gotta change. And from there, I decided to be homeless, man. And it was so freeing. I felt liberated because up until that point, I had a lot of things to point to. Okay, all right, my grandma, or my job, or my past experience with my dad and our relationship, or having to be the only man in the house with my mom and my two sisters, and like I had all these things to point at. But once I went homeless, I'm like, all right, well, now everything's up to me. It's all on Chris. And if everything is literally 100%, if everything is on Chris, then I'm good. That was my mindset behind it.
Yeah. So it's literally putting yourself in a position where your back is up against the wall and you have no choice but to make it your decision, and your basically your circumstance to make
Yeah,
it successful. Basically, you create your own circumstance where you have no
yeah,
choice but to succeed, right? So,
yeah.
um,
Burn the boats, baby. Burn the
yeah,
boats.
I think
There go
that.
that. There go that fire again. Burn the boats.
Yeah, I think that's what a lot of people find difficult though, to burn the boats and to actually make that leap. Because that was that a decision you made overnight? Was it something you were thinking about for a long time before you thought, okay, now I'm going to do this?
uh, the actual decision to become homeless, it was really overnight. It was super kind of impulsive, this instinctual. Um, for about a month, I knew, okay, like something's not right in life. I need to do something, because I've always been a high mindset. Like, I want huge things, and I just got to a point like, all right, if I continue to do this, I'm gonna continue getting the results I'm getting in life, and I don't want that. So, like, something has to change. I need to do something. And then literally, like, one day after work, driving home, like, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna become homeless. And I had a car, and I was working two jobs, so it wasn't like I was like sleeping under the cardboard box, or something like that. Some nights I would sleep in my car, and then but some nights I'll like go to Waffle House for a little bit. Then I'll leave, and I have to go open the gym at like 5 or 6. I worked at a YMCA. So it wasn't like that dramatic homeless kind of story where some people look at, but technically I didn't have a roof over my head, so I was homeless.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah. No, it makes sense. And so I'm curious, what happened just before the point where you decided to go homeless? I mean, what was it? What were those moments leading up to that?
well, right before I was working at the YMCA in my area, in an oyster house. So I was bussing tables, and then I was working at the oyster house, and I I actually had a week off. So I'm in Mobile, Alabama, and my sister, somebody I'm close to, lives in Atlanta, Georgia. So I took like a weekend to go see her for her birthday, and it was an amazing time. We reminded about, like, kind of, and we got the same mindset. So she's telling me, like, my dreams, like what happened, you want to do this, and remember we used to talk about this, and like it just hit me like, all right, like I have to change. And then I took a bus ride to Atlanta too. So it was a Greyhound bus. So I had a lot of time to just think on that bus, like just looking out the window and thinking, like man, like, how did I get here in life? Like, why am I just busting tables and working at YMCA? Like what's going on? And once I became homeless, it was, everything was on me, and now I know, okay, and now I had urgency in life. So I mean, I was homeless. So all right, I have to do this. I have to do this. I have to do that. And then that's where the growth started to happen.
Yeah, yeah. Have you read Hero's Journey by Joseph Campbell, or heard about the Hero's Journey?
That title sounds familiar. I haven't read it.
Yeah, because in that book he actually talks about that everyone basically goes through a journey whereby they come across certain milestones in their life when they're trying to find their passion or their life mission, and
Hmm.
eventually they come to these crossroads. And it seems like you came to one of these crossroads. That's why I'm raising this. Is you come to a point where if you want to progress to the next stage or the next chapter in your life, you know you have to move out of your house or make a drastic change, and you get the feeling. It's like that picture you see on Instagram that says your dreams are calling you, and it's got like a decline.
Hmm.
It's
Yep.
exactly like that. You feel that
Yep.
internally, and you're like, I don't know what it is, but I have to do something and accept this call. And if
Right.
it means going home for you, if it means going homeless, I have to do it because I know somehow, in some ways, it's going to lead me to the next part of my life. And then it's the people that turn that down and like, no, 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 I'll stay
Hmm.
here. You could just stay at home, stay at the YMCA, keep waiting tables, and just pretend like you never felt that. And then
Right.
creeps up on you later in life. So yeah, I mean, it took a lot of courage to make that decision. But yeah, no, go on.
Now, I'm about to say it did, but to me, that's another thing. Like since then, and I've heard and I've told this story and shared it with people. Like, man, that must have been hard. Man, that was like that took a lot of courage to do that. But to me, at the moment, like it it just seemed like the thing to do. Like it literally, like it wasn't necessarily a sacrifice. It was almost a stepping stone. Like, okay, if I want to get here, I need to do this. Like that's the logic. That's the rationale I had behind it. And so court always tell people, what you did to get here, you can't do to get there. So like if you keep doing all the things you've done to get to a certain spot, doing those same things won't elevate you. You have to switch it up. You have to start doing something different. Which is kind of going back to that, the phoenix in a cycle. Like, all right, once that cycle finishes, where you get to a certain point, now you need to make a new decision. Now you got to go through that cycle again, and then you're gonna get to another point where you got to make a new decision to get to another point.
Yeah, that makes sense. And I mean, for you, did that cycle start again once you made that decision, and then you
Yep.
started fresh, basically?
Yep.
So
Like
Yeah, go on.
Now, I'm about to say that's what I talk about in my book. My book is it talks about the three phases where like you have to make a decision, then you have to grow, you have to groom, and then you finally reach a level of greatness. So me, I made a decision to be homeless. Now I had to go through these growing pains. I had to learn to depend on myself and learn these skills, and then another level is the grooming. I got a sales job and I start to groom. I got to learn these skills. I got to learn how to sell and recruit and to make calls and do this. And then I became a district manager and built my own, business. And now I'm kind of at a level of greatness where I'm building the business and doing that. And then I shut all of that down to start Health is Wealth Nation. So I made a decision to shut that down and move back home. And boom, now I got to grow again. And then I got to groom again. And now I'm starting to reach another level of greatness. And it's going to come another time where I make another huge decision, and then I got to go through some growing pains. So just like the affinity, the level 8 sideways,
Yeah,
it's the same thing. Like you're just constantly growing.
yeah, it's like the cycle we're talking about. It comes back to that same theme, just killing off old ideas to bring in the new.
Yeah, exactly, man. Like it's that simple. It's really that simple.
So, leading up to the time when you were thinking about doing something different to change in your life, what was the dream at that time that you were talking to your sister about? I mean, what were you guys talking about? What were you dreaming about? What were you thinking about?
Well, back then, and this is early on where I really didn't have the skills I have now as far as like articulating and really manifesting what I want. But I just knew I wanted to do something huge. At that time, and I loved to write. With poetry was a big thing for me. And then I was at that time I just wanted to be a personal trainer. I want to train people. Now I don't even want a personal trainer. I can go on a whole tangent about that, but I mean, if I'm personal training somebody, I can only work with one person, and then it's only 24 hours in a day. So my capacity of impacting people is kind of limited. So that's why I'm doing what I'm doing now. I can reach people across, around the world. But yeah, that was my dream back then. I want to run a gym, do some personal training, and do some poetry, and one day write a book. Which back then I thought would be like I had to be 40 years old, and now like writing the second edition of my first book. So yeah, it was basic, dreams then, but back then, I mean, I was 21, 22. So it's like big dreams. Like, man, I want to be a personal trainer, want to run a gym. I'm working at the YMCA so I can learn how to run a gym, and then I want to get my poetry out there. So that was like the foundation of my dreams back then.
Yeah, yeah. And have you seen your dreams come to life since then? All of them,
Man,
everything you've been thinking about.
10 times over, man. 10 times over. It's crazy to be only 27, and a lot of things I'm doing. I thought I would be like mid-30s, 40-year-old, doing so many things like like a best-selling author. I at the age of 23, I opened up a district headquarters with the business. And I was a district manager for a marketing firm and an advertising firm. And I opened up a business. It was a brick and mortar business. I negotiated a lease. I moved 6.5 hours away from home, and I opened up. Hired a receptionist department. And in 18 months, I did over $100,000. So I did 6 figures in under 18 months, and I recruited 150 sales reps on my team, like just 23, 24 years old, and I did that in an area where the median income, the average a household makes in a year is like $35,000.
Wow.
And I built a 6-figure business with a premium product and my demographic for sales reps for high school kids and college kids. So I was like, can I curse on here? I asked you that before.
Yeah, you can.
Okay. I'm glad. I was like, fuck, if I can do this, I can do anything. Like that was my mindset at that point. And I was still at that point, 24, 25. And I finally had those skills, and I was equipped with the skills I needed. And then from here on out, I'm just kind of doing the same thing, but just in different, industries and venues, but that same basic tools and skills you need to be successful in running the business.
That's amazing, man. From going from where you were to having those dreams, and then to be able to build up something like that in that sort of area where people, from the sounds of it, people are quite average in their way of life and their lifestyle. So
Right.
the selling that you're talking about and the calls that you have to make, etc.
Mm-hmm.
Is that in relation to that business, or did you
Yeah.
before that as well? Okay, it was there.
Yeah. I got started. I became homeless. I was 22. This was January 2013. April 2013, I was a personal recruit, so a friend wrote my name down to be recruited, and then I went in, got the job, and I started as a sales rep in April 2013. A couple of 2 weeks after that, I was already assistant manager with the sales company. A couple months later, I was a sales manager, and then 9 months after I got started in April 2013, I was already a district manager. And then, so 9 months just getting started in the job, I was district manager. And then in 2014, that's when I started my district headquarters, and then I grew it to a 6-figure business in 18 months. So yeah, that's what I'm talking about. With the making calls, doing group interviews, recruiting, making sales calls, coaching, one-on-one consulting, development, all that. Started with that sales job.
Yeah, and were they, so the things you were doing, the coaching, the selling, the recruiting, was that all things you were comfortable with at the start? Because I know not a lot of people are comfortable doing cold calls or just calling strangers. What was that process like for you when you first started, especially at that age?
I was a nervous fucking wreck. This part of the story is always funny. Like, cause before, like, I was a guy that's why I kind of said before I could never articulate, because I was never a talker. I was an introvert. I never said more than one word to people sometimes. I stuttered. Like, I talked low and I mumbled. Like, it was bad. Like, like, looking back at myself, I just crack up, because like I was just a social, awkward, just wreck. And but I had to get outside my comfort zone when I got started with that sales job, and that's when I started to grow. And all of those skills, like you do it, and then you mess up, but in that messing up, that's where you learn. That's where you grow.
Definitely, yeah. I think it's in the doing. That's where you learn. You have to be live in the ring to actually learn what it's like. There's only so much reading and practicing and thinking about you can do. Because
Right.
I find the same as well with me, because my day job at the moment is in recruitment. So that's
Okay.
like my day job is literally cold calling. That's like 80% of the job, to win business, to sell, and then to then fill the vacancies and do the rest of the stuff that I have to do behind the scenes. So
Mm-hmm.
But at the start, definitely, I would say, the same as you, nervous wreck. In your head, you can replay it as perfectly as you want. But when you're on that call and they pick up the phone, you're like, what do I say?
Right.
All my lines. And then, but that only comes with practice, then you gain the confidence and then you just feel more grounded in yourself because you've done it so many times. It's almost like you can do it with your, with a blindfold over your eyes because you've been there, you've done that, you've felt the energy of what
Right.
it's like to be in that situation. So, yeah. I mean, one thing I was going to actually ask you was, what's the one thing that you've learned since being homeless and going through that whole process? Like that must have changed you in such a way.
Mm-hmm. One thing that I've learned, I'll probably have to say that it's all gonna be okay. Like it's always gonna be okay. I used to think, like in moments, I used to think problems were like this big, and then a week, and of course for the podcast people don't see I'm holding my hands wide out now, but I used to think like moments were just this big, and a week went by and I realized that the problem was just this big, and then a month went by, I realized it was only this big, and then a year went by, I realized that I didn't matter at all. So like and now when adversity strikes in a moment, I always use that vision, that 1 year vision. Like in a year, this not even going, like this won't even matter. Like I'll forget about this. And a lot of times when people meet adversity and a hardship, they think that the world is over, that this is gonna just, like ruin a reputation, this and that. And there's some predicaments that may happen, but I always go with that one vision, like, okay, a year from now, am I gonna even remember this? Like, is this still gonna impact my life? And that's one thing I realized from going from homeless, like life is gonna be okay. As long as you don't give up, like it's hard to fail when you don't give up. And like if you quit, like you won't get there any sooner from quitting. So like if I don't give up in life, then if I keep with it, then sooner or later, inevitably, I'm gonna succeed.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. And that's something I tell myself as well. It's just like, the more you keep going, the closer you get to the next stage, to the next destination. And then the closer it is you get to this destination after that. And
Hmm.
failure is only a stepping stone toward that. It's not you going backwards, you're actually going forward.
Right.
It's just your perception of how you treat failure, I guess, isn't it?
Yeah, I tell a lot of people, failure and success is a family affair. Like it's not either or. Like they're together. Like it's that yin yang relationship.
Yeah.
That's success and failure. But it's also your perception, like you said, on how you look at failure. And the famous line, I don't lose, I only learn. That's kind of what failure is. Like use it as a stepping stone to get to your next path, or the next destination on your path.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, along the way then, so throughout that process, did you have anyone to help you shape this mindset, like a mentor or a guide, something you've read, or was it just you learned it like intuitively as you went?
Yeah, it's a combination of all of that. In April 2013, when I got the sales job, when I went in for the interview, the guy that ran my interview, we went to the same high school. And when I was a freshman, he was a senior. So I walked in. He's a Caucasian guy. Went to a private, high school. But I mean, like I knew him. Like I knew him. I knew his family, and I saw him. He was a district manager, running this interview, standing up straight, articulating himself, just confident. And I'm like, shit, if he can do this, I can do this. Like that's what I'm saying in my head during the interview. Now, of course, I don't have all the skills at that moment to do all of that, but I'm like, if I know this guy, and if he can do this and be successful, I can. So that was a big portion, and of course he helped me out, just giving me lessons. I talk about him a lot in my book. I was his right wing guy. When I was a sales manager, like literally every single day we were around each other, almost like 24/7, and with phone calls. If he's too busy, he'll give me his phone so I can take a sales call, and or recruiting or in training, like literally, like a lot of who I am today, I'm kind of like a collage from him. So and then he was my district manager. Then I had a division manager that was like a step up over him, and it's the same thing. So my district manager was like a descendant from my division manager, and then I was a descendant from my district manager. So Like I'm just like I said, a collage of them with, you know, literally how I speak. Like still to this day, when I want to emphasize what I'm saying, like I raise my eyebrows. Like I get that from my division manager. Like when I want to put emphasis talking, like and I do that. Like I got that from him. So just stuff like that. And so learning day-to-day stuff on how to carry myself, how to be a district manager, how to, you know, be a professional salesman, how to recruit. I learned from them. And then mindset stuff, I learned a lot from Jerome. I love Jerome. I love Grant Cardone. I love Uncle G. So, and then my family is from New Orleans, and you know he's from Louisiana, so we kind of got that connection. My granddad was born and raised in New Orleans and Louisiana. So, I mean, I've read, like the year I became homeless in 2013. I've read about 40 books that year just on personal development. So, like a lot of times I forget stuff I've read because I read like so much. But everything from Darren Hardy to you know, Brian Tracy, you know, The Alchemist. You know, Think and Grow Rich. I mean, I can give you a slew of books, but you know, and a lot of times people don't like to read, but I mean, this one quote I learned from Jim Rome, like the things we want in life, the luxury things we want in life, on a high shelf in life, and the more books we read, it stacks up under us so we can reach those high things in life. So if you want them, then you need to read more, and that's always been my mindset on reading. Like if I want to know something, if I want to get to a certain level, I need to like read more. And when I'm in slumps in life, I know I'm usually not praying, I'm not working out, and I'm not reading. So anytime like I'm off in life, I realize I'm not doing one of those, and reading is like it's huge for me.
Yeah, that's powerful. There's a lot of good books you mentioned there as well. Do you have
Oh
a
yeah.
favorite?
My favorite all time book is Up from Slavery by Booker T. Washington. So are you familiar with Booker T. Washington?
Is I think he's the same person that Les Brown mentions.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Les Brown mentions him. Yeah, he started. Everybody know about Tuskegee University here, and it's in Alabama, in Tuskegee, Alabama. The Tuskegee Airmen, and you know, the whole syphilis epidemic back in the day with Tuskegee. But he was a principal, so he didn't start Tuskegee, but he grew the Tuskegee Institute. It's a HBCU, a historically black college, and Booker T. Washington kind of grew that. He was an amazing orator. You know, he did a speech at the White House. I can't remember like the years around that time, but you know, went to the White House. So, but yeah, he has a book called Up from Slavery, and he actually went from homeless to, well, first he was a slave. Of course, he was born a slave. Then at one point he was homeless, and then next thing you know, he's literally building a institute, and now it's one of the, you know, top, you know, historically black, you know, colleges in the nation. So like that book, I could literally read that book every month. Like I revisit. That's one of my books I revisit just to get stuff from. So that's definitely, you know, my favorite book.
Yeah, I definitely got to check that out. I haven't actually had a chance to read it, but yeah, I'll put the link in the description for everyone as well if they want to check that
Oh
out.
yeah. Like it's hard not to get something from that book, no matter what race you are. Like I've had like 60-year-old like financial advisors say, that's my favorite book. That can't be your favorite book. Like it's crazy. Like everybody resonates with that book. So definitely.
Yeah. So, I mean, in terms of since you've released your book and, you know, told your story a few times before, what's the number one question that you get from people that know you?
Um, the number one question is really, it's one of the questions you asked, like what, you decided to be homeless? What, you know, like how did you do that? So that was crazy. You asked that because I get that a lot. Since I published my book, a lot of times people ask me what made you want to write a book, and I mean, I've always wanted to be a writer. So, and I knew I had a story from going, you know, from homeless to business owner. So I had a story, and then I looked at a lot of my mentors and saw that they had a book. So, with, you know, Gary Vee and, you know, Eric Thomas and Grant Cardone, and, you know, I mean, the list goes on. I saw they had books. So, you know, it's just, hey, if I want to get where they are, I got to make a huge decision. So I'm gonna write a book. So, and then, you know, and in the town we're living in, I found out, you know, with self-publishing and createspace.com, with Amazon, like I don't have to wait on anybody to approve anything. I don't have to, like go pitch it. I mean, I could go pitch it, get a book deal, but just like we're going homeless. Hey, if I can do it on my own and it's all on me, then it's gonna be good. So so that's what came about doing the book. And other questions, it's been so many, but and how long did it take to write a book? And the first book was it took me just a week, to write. And but it was the first edition, so I just wrote it, put it out there, and just like with iPhones, they put it out, then they fix it later. So the author of Rich Dad Poor Dad, he says it's not best written, it's bestseller. So they don't award best written books, they award
I like that.
bestseller.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I put it out, and a lot of people ask that, like, how long did it take and this and that. So yeah, it's got some good response from it.
Yeah. Do you know what I like about you, the way you do things as well? From what you're explaining, it's always, you always think about something that you want to do and then you take the action on it. There's not too much gap between the thought and then the action. It's like you've taken the action, then it's like, okay, now what do I do next? Once I've taken the steps, then I'll figure it out. And a lot of people get stuck in thinking, I want to write a book. Where do I start? Who do I have to contact? And how many pages does it have to be? All this stuff that's not really, you don't need to think about it. You just write. I mean, I haven't written a book, a best-selling book like you have. So, you can tell people firsthand, what was that process like, writing the first book and then the second book as well? Like what? So you decide, okay, fine, I want to write a book, and then what? What step did you take?
Yeah, the first step started, of course, like I want to write a book. Well, what's the book going to be about? Well, I have this great story about going from homeless to business owner. So that was like the overall concept, and it's about my life, and I'm literally just documenting my life. So that's another thing. It's a book, but it's in a lot of ways like a journal. Like I'm literally just I'm explaining and documenting my journey, but I'm also tying it back to lessons and philosophies and different skills I learned. So I'm teaching as well, but it's also in a personal way, a personal manner. So in that case, it was extremely easy to write the book. And I wrote it. I had the concept, of course, because it documents the 3 years of my life from 2013, 2014, and 2015, where I had to grow and I had to groom my skills. And then I reached a level of greatness as a district manager. And then once I sat down to write it, it just all spilled out, in a week. And, I wrote it in a week. It's a lot of grammar errors, a lot of misspelled words, but hey, it's my book. So, and like I said, it's all about bestseller, not best written. And then I put it up on, Amazon through CreateSpace, and, started selling it. And that's another thing. I truly believe content is king. So, the content of the book, the story, was 100% more important than the actual, grammatical errors and whatnot. So, at the end of the day, people needed to hear that story. Like I can't tell you how many stories I've gotten from business owners. Like, you know what? I was literally about to quit. And, I wasn't going to renew my business license. I was just going to quit. But then I read your book, and then I started to, renew everything, because I saw how you, got through life and got through your business. So like stories like that, like you can't, like no editing or, fixing misspelled words can be more important than, changing somebody's life like that. So that was the main thing with writing a book at first.
Yeah, definitely. I think, as you said, it just comes naturally to you when you put that intention out there, I guess, and you just let it flow through you, and you don't really think too much about it. Then it starts to come naturally to you, doesn't it?
Exactly. And at least in my experience, anytime I have to force something, it's not going to be good. It's not going to be quality. So a lot of, and that may be just a personal thing. It may just be me and my DNA. But anytime, like, I have to like sit for a long time and just ponder on things and learn, like, and it's not, naturally me, and I'm going against my flow in life, then it's not going to turn out right. And if I do ponder on something to do it, I'm going to end up regretting it later on. So a lot of what I do is I'm following my gut, I'm going with it. And also I think a lot on my vision. So I'm always thinking about my end vision in life, like 60, 70, 80 years from now. Like, I'm going to live to be 130. Like I truly think that, especially from being the founder of Health is Wealth Nation. Like, I'm going to have all the health stuff down. So I'm going to live a long time. So I reverse engineer, my end vision and what I want to do in life. And every decision I make now is based on, okay, how does this, correlate and match up with what I want to do 60, 70, and 80 years from now? And if I think about it, nope, I want to do it. So it's either a hell yes or a no. So if I'm not excited to do it, if it's not a hell yes, then I'm just, no, that's okay. I'll pass forward. Because a lot of things work. They may just not work for me. And that's where a lot of people get in trouble with. They stick to the trends. They hop from one thing to another. Like, hell, it all works. Like no matter what you do, it works. But it may not be what's best for you and what you're gonna stick with long enough for it to work.
Yeah. So I guess it has to line up to your talents or your gifts or your natural abilities. Would you say that's right? So people try and do things because they see other people being successful in it, and it's not necessarily the thing that's made out for them. So as you said, they might be successful, but it's for those group of people to be successful at, because that's where their skills are. For you, it's going to be something else. It just doesn't mean you can't be successful. It just means there's something else out there that you need to go out and master.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, a lot of times it may not be perfect up front. Like we both said, like making calls and recruiting at first, we were nervous wrecks. But to be able to get to that point where we're kind of operating at our high levels and so our dreams, that's a growing phase we got to go through. And we sucked at first, but we got to get through that in order to do what we want to. See, I truly believe, like everybody say, love what you do what you love, and you never work another day in your life. Like a lot of that is real bullshit, because I truly believe the reason you should love what you do is because at first it's gonna suck and you're gonna hate it so fucking bad. But if you love it, you're gonna stick with it long enough in order to reap the benefits and be good at it. If you don't love it, you're gonna say, fuck this, and then you're gonna quit. Like, so you need to do something you love so you can be consistent, accumulate those skills and, groom those skills. That way you can succeed at it one day. So like too many times this whole PC, do what you love, and people think as soon as they start something, it's gonna be all peaches and cream. But that's not the case, especially with entrepreneurship. Like hell, I can do a whole podcast just on just the state of entrepreneurship and what people and the glam and how people glamorize and what people think it is, but then they get into it and that expectation and reality don't match at all. So I mean, so stop me before I go on another tangent, but
Yeah.
but
You're
yeah,
right.
man.
They see all the material, because we have this whole environment or society now that's built on the images that you see online, or the magazines that you see that are published, or the media in general, basically.
Right.
You see the end result, and that's what people want, but they get attached to that without realizing what it takes to go from the beginning, and what happens in the middle for you to then get to the end. And then even
Right.
you think you want it, but then a lot of people, Jim Carrey says this, I really love this, is I wish everyone gets rich and famous, because that's you realize that's not where happiness actually is. It's not going to
Exactly. That, man, that quote right there. That's it.
Yeah. But for me, that was just like it was a mindset shift, because I realized that at the start of my sort of entrepreneurial journey of taking my mindset to the next level. At the beginning, I was all pumped up when I was like, I think in 2021, around that age, it was like, I'm going to get a Lamborghini, I'm going to make millions, I want to be a billionaire. And I had all these, they're all material, goals. And it was fine for me at the time, because that's what excited me. But now, as I've gone on, yes, I still want to make money. I want to be financially independent.
Of course.
I still want all of those things, 100%.
Right.
But it's a means to an end. It's not the end itself. I'm not going to sit here with a pile of cash in a car. That doesn't do anything for me. I need to have as much impact as possible. As you just said, about the whole personal training, and is that having maximum impact that I could have spending time with one person when I could spend time with hundreds in a day. So yeah, I mean, I think as you go on in the journey, you realize more and more about yourself and who you actually are and what you actually value.
Absolutely.
I mean, what are some of the things that you've realized about yourself since going on this journey over the last few years?
About myself, I just I realized that I'm extremely self-aware. So, can you still hear me? I know my
Yeah,
phone
yeah,
fell.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I realize I'm extremely self-aware, so I know what I want. I know what's for me and what's not for. I mean, it may be good for somebody else, but it's not for me. And also I just like I'm extremely simplistic. So, whether it's a new endeavor or whatnot, like if it's too complicated, then for some reason it won't work. And even with money, I'm real like simple. Like I look at money like a carpenter looks at a hammer. So it's a tool. So like the love of money is evil, but money isn't evil. It's a tool. So I mean, I need just to like one day I want to own the New Orleans Saints and the New Orleans Pelicans, and I need to be a billionaire, like just to do that. And then with the philanthropy stuff, I want to do like I need money, not for me, for the people I want to help, and for the the projects I want to build, and like I want to build 100 nutrition clubs here in the South because I know when I die, those nutrition clubs will still be here and they'll still operate. So like it's bigger than money, So it's about your purpose and you know and the legacy, of course. Know your legacy, the legacy you're gonna leave, and really that's what it's all about. So that's one thing I learned. I've always been future oriented too. So and kind of going back earlier in the podcast, like thinking ahead, like is what's going on right now, is it going to affect me a year from now? Like I've always been super future oriented. A lot of times people say, "Oh yeah, let's go out. Like we don't want to miss this." I'm like I don't give a shit. Like I'm working on or I'm doing this. So or a lot of times like it's just gonna come back next year. Like forget that show or forget that concert. We just go to the one next year. Like I've always been super oriented. So that's one of the main things about me. And I'm extremely I got a high emotional intelligence. So like I'm not saying I'm a robot, of course, but I just like I can easily compartmentalize things, just like what's important and what's not. Like Jerome talks about this, like minors versus majors. And a lot of times people don't succeed in life because they major in minor things. So like it may be important, like gas is important in a car, but you need oil, you need anti-coolant, like it's so many other things. So like a lot of times people forget the major and the minor things in life, and that's one thing. Just being emotionally intelligent, I realize, okay, that's important, but it's minor. It's a minor thing to be important with, and I'm focused on this major thing that's gonna get me ahead in life.
Yeah. What were one of the minor things that you focused on, and then you realized later on, oh, this is only a mistake. I shouldn't have given this so much time and energy.
School. That's a big one. School. Well, um, formal education. Like that's just a minor thing in life. Well, and it depends on what you want to do. Like if you want to be a doctor or a lawyer, then of course you have to go to school. But if you just want to run a business, if you want to impact people, I mean, formal education is just not the way to go. But higher education as far as podcasts and reading books and going to seminars and like I'm always learning. Like I've taken more notes like this past month than I took in high school or I took in or the 1 year I was at college. I'm always learning. But growing up, you just really you think that school is the way to go. So and it's so much history behind school and it being started because of factories and the kids needed somewhere to go. And then for the parents, and then okay, well now we got these kids, we're gonna ship them into the factory, and then like it's just like it's so old, outdated it's so outdated now. It's just completely a scam, and people just don't realize it. And that's one of my favorite quotes by Mark Twain. He said, "It's not what you know that gets you in trouble. It's not what you don't know that gets you in trouble. It's what you think you know that just isn't so."
Hmm.
So a
Yeah.
lot of people like they're so attached to a philosophy and just a way of living, and they think like, hey, that's what needs to happen. But like it's just not the case. Like it just ain't so. Just like
I
Mark
think
Twain
I
said.
think everything would drastically change if we could see the trajectory of our current decisions. Like if we decide to work a job and then we think, oh, I won't think about saving, I won't think about investing, I won't think about reading, I'll put it all off. Like, and then you want to watch TV because you've had a hard day at work, for example. And then you realize, then imagine you could see a TV screen where you see that decision being made every day for 50 years and you see where you're going to be at 50, I think people would absolutely change. That would scare them. But I think because we
I
can't
was just
see
about to
it.
say,
Yeah.
yeah.
Because
I
we
was about to
can't
say,
see it. Yeah.
like you really can't. Like I was getting scared just when you saying that. Like, man, if that was me, like I'd definitely get up and just get to work, because you're right. Like people don't have that long-term vision.
Yeah, no, exactly. Just one final thing I wanted to actually ask you before we get into the final few questions is what fascinates you about life right now?
What fascinates me about life now is two things. One is that there is a level playing field. So like literally, like there are just no more gatekeepers in life. Like at one time, if I had to write a book, there was literally one, maybe a room full of people that had to approve that, and now I've done it. If you wanted to like broadcast a show or a podcast, well, first of all, a show, it was literally only 3 channels on TV you had to go through to get that show on. And when it comes to radio, same thing. Like there were some big wigs that had to make that decision. But now we got YouTube and the podcast and all these Anchor and just SoundCloud, like so many platforms where it's really all on you. Like there's no more. They used to say ignorance is a choice. Where now if you're ignorant, then like you're choosing to be ignorant. Because all of the information is out there. So that's one thing that really fascinates me now. Like if you suck in life, is really your fault. Like I know that's brash to say, but if you suck at life, it's because you don't want to get better, or you don't want to do the necessary things to get better. So it's literally all on you in today's age if you don't want to, succeed in life. So that's the one thing that fascinates me, and another thing is life is too good right now that shit is gonna hit the fan soon, and all these fake entrepreneurs and Instagram entrepreneurs, like it's gonna be carnage. And people that's been living good for the last 8 to 10 years, like it's basically gonna be bloodshed, and they won't know how to react. And I'm in a strange way, I'm excited about that because it's almost gonna be like a filtering tool, where all right, things are too good right now. Like in the marketplace, we haven't had a huge crash in the marketplace since 2008, 2009 when the housing market crashed, and like we've had little recession since then, but we've really had like 10 years of just things are good. Now the news may say one thing, and that's their job to put out bullshit, but economically, we've been really good for the past decade, and that hasn't happened in a long time. Like there needs to come a bust, and just like cycles, that there has to come a bust where things reshift, and when it happens, it's gonna be bad. And the people that don't know how to sell, they don't know how to do customer service, they don't know how to run a business, they're not gonna know what to do because like people gonna be it's gonna be so tight. Where the only successful people that's going to be around are people that really know how to run a business, that really know how to exchange value for a product, that really know how to add value to people's lives and change their lives, not just give them some bullshit product. And when that happens, people like me and you and other people, like we're going to be the ones standing, while everybody else is going to be just sitting around, not having their Lamborghini rented, they can't rent their Lamborghini anymore and stuff like that. So yeah, that's one thing I'm excited about, man.
Yeah, that's something that's been talked about in entrepreneurship generally speaking, like especially with social media. Like I've always heard it in regards to social media because you never see the real true personality of the person or the life that person's living or the character of the person, because they don't really have to put a face to the name anymore. It's just like pictures. They're in control. As you said, there's no barriers, so they're in control of what they want to show. So if they're showing you luxury, you think, oh, okay, this is the life that this person's living. But then as soon as shit hits the fan, it's going to be like, that's it. Those guys are wiped out. And then
Exactly.
it's the people that are building solid foundations with, I don't want to say fans, but an audience that actually listens to them. There's
Yeah.
nothing more powerful than having a group of people who
Or
actually,
a tribe, like
yeah,
Seth
tribe
Godin says.
basically. Yeah.
Yeah.
A tribe that listens to you and is willing to engage with you on whatever it is, whatever mission it is that you're on. And that's just it, because they'll follow you everywhere you go, but it's difficult to build that up. So
Right.
I'm looking forward to being the people that break through the noise and hopefully have an impact long term.
Absolutely, man.
But yeah, so just to get into the final few questions that I ask everyone, with everything you've learned now, it seems like you've had a wild journey and a wealth of knowledge that you've gained, up until this point. With everything that you've gained so far mentally, what would you tell the 18-year-old Chris if you were to tell him anything?
The 18-year-old Chris. You're right. So that's the first thing I would tell myself. You're right, because I had all these thoughts. Okay, I need to do this, I need to do that, but I allowed society, and then here growing here in the South is very conservative. So I'm like, okay, I can't do that, or I shouldn't do that. So I would tell myself, no, you're right, do it, and also just take risk, go extremely fast and extremely hard. So a lot of times, just like you said, a lot of times people like they have this goal, but they don't want to put into action, or they want to think about it. Like, no, go fast, go hard. If you're wrong, you'll get there faster, and you'll know you're wrong, so you can do the right thing. But just going slow and thinking, I always tell people it's paralysis by overanalysis. So like you think so much to the point where you don't do shit. So that's one thing I tell myself: go hard, go fast, and then everything else will take care of itself.
Yeah, I think that's one piece of advice that's quite powerful, because in terms of telling yourself that everything's going to be that everything's going to work out, basically,
Mm-hmm.
because you can only realize that when you look back. It's difficult when you're in the situation. You think, oh, am I
Right,
making the right decision? Is the door going to be open for me on the other side? But then, I guess that only comes retrospectively when you look back at your life.
right.
But yeah, so the second question, if you could write anything, piece of paper and a pen, you could write anything for 3 generations from now to read, and you've put this message in a time capsule. So that's your great great grandchildren. What message, if anything, would you leave for them?
Uh, be brilliant. So be brilliant is a mantra I live by. Uh, Actually, my mom instilled it in me. Growing up, anytime I would leave the house, before I stepped out the door, she would say, "Okay, Chris, be brilliant." And whether I was going to school, football practice, going to be an altar boy, traveling for a basketball tournament, whatever, she made sure before I stepped outside the door, she would say, "Be brilliant," and it's really shaped and molded me into who I am today. Because everything, like, I just like average. I'm just allergic to average. I can't do anything. Like, if I can't be the best at it, I might as well not do it. Like, I just can't. I just won't do it. So I'm always thinking, huge, and thinking, extravagant, wanting to pioneer something, being a visionary, and it all comes from that mantra of, be brilliant, in anything you do. So yeah, that's one thing. My great grandchild, Archibald would read. He'll read that. You know, I said be brilliant. Yeah, that's one.
Oh, I love it. It's amazing. So it's funny how, the things that our parents say to us really stick with us over time. So, um,
It's
so
amazing, man.
the last question, you're 130, as you said now, at the end of your life, coming to the end of your life, and you're looking back at your life, or you're reflecting, and you're thinking about your life and how far you've come. What's the legacy you'd like to think you've left behind for the world?
The legacy I want to leave behind is, um, I was a doer. Christopher Ray Coleman was a doer, and whatever he put his mind to, he did it, and he didn't allow society, the climate of society right now, like I know you're in London, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, like I don't know if most of your listeners, but to be a young African American male here in the South isn't the most ideal thing you would want to choose. Like, especially, well, a couple of years ago, it was very tough with a bunch of police killings of Black African American males, and really just that culture here. Just if you're an African American male, like, you have to walk on eggshells just because anything can happen. So that mindset, having that mindset, you're really careful with how you maneuver and how you move. So, yeah, I just went on a tangent. What was the question again?
Yeah.
What?
The legacy
Uh,
you left behind.
yeah, the legacy. So, 'cause I'm just thinking about just so many things I want people to know, but just know that I didn't let anything just stop me from doing what I want to do. Like, I don't care if I'm Black. I don't care if I'm young. I don't care if I'm short. I'm only 5'5". So, I don't care if I grew up in a house full of women, and no, and I'm still going to be an amazing male, and alpha male, and I don't care if I come from poor backgrounds, and I don't have a silver platter. I'm still going to be a billionaire. I'm still going to help people. Like I didn't allow anything to stop me. I was a doer, and if I leave that legacy, then I'll be extremely happy.
I love that, man. I think you're well on your way to accomplishing that with everything you've done so far. And the book's are only the beginning, man. So
Exactly, man. Only the beginning.
yeah. So where can people find you if they want to follow you and see your journey?
Main place is Instagram. I'm always on Instagram it's just my name, Christopher Ray Coleman, at Christopher Ray Coleman. They can find me, of course, on Facebook. Look me up. My like page, Christopher Ray Coleman. They can go to my website. Health is Wealth Nation, and other than that, really just my book. The 180 Effect. Get that. All my information is in the book. So, because I want people to reach out to me from getting the book, and yeah, don't hesitate to reach out to me. Whether it's how to get started in life, if you're in a tough spot, where that's another thing. I really want to help people that's in a tough spot in life where they just don't know. Okay, I see all these people being successful, but what do I do? What do I need to do? So because a lot of times it's so many things that we can do, we get confused and don't know where to start. So I really want to help people with that. So definitely reach out to me. My email is Chris at healthiswealthnation.com, and yeah, that's where you can reach me.
Perfect, man. So thanks again so much for taking the time to speak and share your wisdom.
Oh no, thank you, man. I love the know your legacy mantra. We pyromaniacs, so we love fire. I love the Phoenix, and hey, I really love what you're doing, man. Like a lot of times, people don't want to take out this time to really dig into, people's like legacy. Like, forget all the material stuff. Like, what's like let's get to this purpose, and I love that you're doing that. So I appreciate you, man.
No, thank you so much, man. It means a lot to have your support. So yeah, I'd love to do this again sometime, man.
Oh yeah, absolutely. We'll have a follow up a couple years from now, so I can tell you about all these accomplishments we both have.
Definitely. Thank you, man.
Absolutely.